situation. Chandrea?
Well, fire officials say that 3-alarm fire started at around 8 o'clock here in the 3600 block of Hamilton. And again, let me just give you a frame of references. It's directly behind the Goody Goody Diner. Fire crews are still here on the scene, basically wrapping things up, but there are still a couple of hot spots out here in this area. We're told this is a budget inn. This inn has about 84 rooms, and a good chunk of them were affected by the fire. It actually spread through the roof. This is what the fire chief on scene had to say.
Responded in, made sure everybody was out of the building. We had about 4 to 5 units on fire.
At this point, we're told St. Louis City, University City, and Riverview fire departments were on hand. We're also told that there were no injuries, but again, as you can see, fire crews are still out here working on hotspots and will continue to do so throughout the night. Reporting live in North City, Chandrea Thomas, Fox 2 News. Sandy, the victim says it was the most traumatic experience of her life, being left in woods like these in the cold, and it also changed her life forever.
I never thought that I would be walking down the road naked with nowhere to turn.
19-year-old Kimberly Maidenblick is lucky to be alive. She has a broken arm, bruises, and 6 staples in her head.
I was like crying, like begging her. I was like, please don't do this. And she hit me in the head with that pole. And I just remember my eyes went black.
She says the attack on her life was a result of a drug-induced mania that started Monday morning in Sullivan at the home of 37-year-old Crystal Gim over a cell phone.
She said that I had released her demons. You could just see the evil come out of them.
Gim, Jason Kerbell, and another man allegedly kidnapped, stripped, beat, and forced Maidenblick into freezing waters in the remote woods along Little Indian Creek. 3 hours later, she was found on the side of the road by a couple driving by.
There was a point where I could feel my chest, like it felt like it was freezing, like it was like my heart was like actually freezing. There was just like this fight in me that was like, you can't just give up like this.
So far, Gim and Kerbell are in custody, charged with kidnapping, assault, and armed criminal action. A third man has been released, but detectives say he can face charges in the future.
I had gotten involved with just the wrong people. I was doing drugs and just...
Now Maidenblick is working on her recovery from the beating and drugs that sent her down this cold and dark path.
What they did to me, that's going to affect me for the rest of my life.
Kimberly also says she plans to attend college as soon as possible to get her life back on track. Reporting live in Union, Chandrea Thomas, Fox 2 News. Some say image is everything. And after 3 months of unrest for the people of Ferguson, it is everything, as the protest and grand jury decision looms over the city.
I love Ferguson. This is Sandy. We choose to live here because we want to live in diversity.
Fox 2 found out when you Google search Ferguson, this was the picture that popped up with the city map. Here you can see a protester and law enforcement in what appears to be a face-off. So I made contact with the online search engine on Monday to find out how the picture was selected and got an email response saying, quote, "The photos are automatically and algorithmically determined, generally reflecting points of interest about an entity on the web. In this case, the listing has been updated to reflect a map of Ferguson. And within 24 hours, the image was changed."
Right.
And that makes Sandy Sansevier at I Love Ferguson and others very happy.
The image that we need is that this is a great community. I love this city, and I want it to continue to grow like it has been growing in the last 10 years.
Sandy says people from all around the world come to their shop with preconceived notions, an idea they're hoping to change.
There was some guys from Norway who had come in, drove them around Ferguson. They were surprised that the city was not burnt to the ground, the entire city.
While the world and Ferguson's 21,000 residents wait to see what the future holds for their city, one thing's for sure. There are plenty of supporters who want to see Ferguson develop a new and improved place on the map.
We all need to come together to get the perception of this city the way it's supposed to be.
The owner says he's had his chickens for 3 months and he's attached to them, and he'll do everything he can to keep them.
Helen, Foghorn.
Luther Veal loves his 5 chickens.
We have Lucy, we have Foghorn, we have Queen, and we have
Beth. He and his wife Julie are battling OFallon City Hall after getting this notice from code enforcement.
Here's my little girl's eviction notice.
The city says the chickens and the coop must go, and they have 10 days to do it. They've been raising their feathered friends for 3 months.
We have a fish pond in this subdivision. So if I got to get rid of my chickens, that means this subdivision is also breaking the ordinance.
I like them. I like having them. I like taking care of them.
Luther and Julie say it took 2 days to put this house together for their chickens, and they're willing to fight to keep them at home.
I'll go sit there, and they like country music, and I'll feed them out of my hand.
City officials recently discussed the issue and decided to not allow chickens. They also said the ordinances of the city of OFallon do not allow for the keeping of farm animals, including cattle, swine, sheep, horses, goats, and poultry within the city limits except in agricultural zoning districts.
They're getting ready to go to bed.
While the fight is just days away, Luther will keep feeding, housing, and keeping his chicks safe and sound.
People nowadays want to have backyard birds. We love the eggs, and it's just nice having them around.
Thomas explains how a leaked video from a major church conference put the man's life in danger, and it is a story you will see only on Fox 2. Chandrea?
This is a very interesting story. Andrew Caldwell says he's speaking out to clear the air about the impact that viral video had on his life, a life he says is now in danger.
It's a video that went viral during a 2014 Church of God in Christ conference in St. Louis.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay.
21-year-old Andrew Caldwell says the internet sensation has been both a blessing and a curse. Caldwell's testimony of conversion from gay to straight was a hit within 24 hours of being leaked on the web. He also says since then he's received online death threats, phone calls from around the world, and assaults.
The gays is the church people, it's the church, and also the straight people too. I begin to get death threats. I begin to people say, "You're not delivered, you still gay," and I'm like, wow. And I just confessed it, and I know I am because I have not touched a man a year now. It's been a year.
I also asked the self-proclaimed author about his past troubles with the law and his response to those who say he's a fraud looking for a payout. Caldwell says the videos have millions of views and his Facebook page is active.
I'm not making money off this, haven't made a dime. I'm not trying to. It's just know that we should not begin out. I should not begin punched in my face. I should not begin my car in my house vandalized.
Vital Voice publisher Darren Slyman says most of the LGBT community says conversion is unlikely.
I believe, and a large portion of the LGBT community believe, that it's just an innate section of your life. And it's not something you choose to be, it's something that you just are.
Now all Andrew wants is a church to help protect him until he gets his life back on track.
It takes time and it takes a process, and that's what God is doing. And I just want God to do some things for me.
Now, of course, Andrew says he still continues to write, and he's not dating right now. He's also just working on himself. But I also made contact with some folks at the Church of God in Christ who say they have no further comment on Mr. Caldwell or his situation.
Chandrea?
That video is very shocking, and it may be hard for some to watch, but it's also good to know that all the people injured in this video are expected to be okay.
The date, June 27th. The location, Lincoln Park in East St. Louis. A group is gathered in the middle of the street to watch what appears to be an argument and fight between two women. First, you see something thrown and hear sounds of a taser. Then suddenly a gray car comes barreling down the street, mowing down 4 people. You can see their bodies fly. The 20-something-year-old female driver and a passenger quickly backs up and flees from the scene. Amazingly, the victims walked away with minor injuries.
The suspects was in a vehicle and ran over 4 girls that was out there and then allegedly hit a car later on.
East St. Louis Police Chief Michael Flores says detectives are diligently working the case. They also have more patrols at the park.
We have the car that the driver committed the crime in. We currently have a person of interest that we're looking for. We've interviewed all the victims. and all the witnesses that were out there also.
Damn. The driver is still at large, and at this point it's unknown why the woman was involved in the fight. But when caught, she can face felony charges of aggravated assault, leaving the scene of an accident, and a hit and run. U.S. Marshals are also involved in the search.
By all means, turn yourself in to the local police department.
Police say if the driver is not caught by Friday, her name and picture will be released. He also says a reward is offered for anyone with information leading to an arrest. Reporting live in East St. Louis, Chandrea Thomas, Fox 2 News. Volunteers are still here, and they are expected to be here throughout the night as they hope for the best. They have also filled over 17,000 bags so far. The machines are working, and the bags are filled. Dozens of volunteers showed up to help fill the thousands of sandbags needed to help protect the city of Alton from rising floodwaters. Residents say it reminds them of the floods that hit the city back in the 70s and 90s.
You have to do what you have to do.
Riverbend yoga owner Vicki Delaney says she moved her equipment to higher ground and made her studio a warming center for volunteers downtown.
Alton has really pulled together their flood relief plan this year. Has been absolutely amazing compared to years in the past. They've learned every flood and they get better and better.
And around the corner at William Street, people of all ages are helping out and doing their part.
See like a lot of the adults, and there's been tons of younger kids out here. So it's nice to see everyone giving back to our community.
Businesses in Sauget and Godfrey also donated equipment to make the process easier. Meanwhile, others provided food.
I find it kind of awesome that Alton came together like this. I was pretty surprised at how many volunteers were out here today.
At this point, city officials say they expect the water to crest on New Year's Eve. And with all of the hard work, they will be ready for whatever Mother Nature has in store.
If you come down, please help.
It's really cool to see the entire community come together because it doesn't happen very often.
At this point, we're being told that they are hoping to fill 50,000 bags before it's all said and done. We'll keep you updated on what happens here as soon as we get more information. Reporting live in Alton, Chandrea Thomas, Fox 2 News.
Chandrea Thomas has the exclusive video that you will only see on Fox 2. Chandrea?
Well, St. Anne police say they typically see about 5 chases per day in the region, but what they saw today was shocking.
St. Anne Police Chief Aaron Jimenez looks at video of this mangled Cadillac in disbelief.
The kids are fine.
21-year-old Demetrius Johnson was driving and decided to run from police because of a suspended license and a lot more.
Thank God nobody was seriously injured.
At around noon on Tuesday, police clocked Johnson on 70 West going 80 miles per hour. When they tried to pull him over, he took off, going down 70 into Earth City and back, reaching speeds of over 130 miles per hour. He finally crashed at 70 East and Natural Bridge.
He sideswipes the median and the concrete barrier, and it spins him out of control.
Police found another man, woman, and 2 kids ages 1 and 3 in the car, along with a loaded gun and 10 bags of marijuana.
You have 2 kids in the back seat, not buckled into a car seat, not buckled in at all. You have zero regard for public safety.
Johnson, who has a rap sheet, was the only one injured in the crash, and there's more. Police also say he didn't want to get caught because he was cheating on his girlfriend with the female passenger.
They're bystanders inside the vehicle, you know, and they're not being charged with anything.
The chief says more people are running from police these days, and departments are adjusting their procedures.
And this has been debated because of Senate Bill 5. Listen, if people don't like the speed limit at 60 and people don't want tickets, raise the speed limit to 70. But I can promise you this, no matter what you put that speed limit at, people are always going to go 10, 15, 20 miles over.
Now Johnson is facing felony flight and child endangerment charges. So far, there's no word on a court date.
And it's a great job by our police department.
Now, at this point, police are waiting to see if more charges will be filed in the case. Reporting live in St. Anne, Chandrea Thomas, Fox 2 News.